last. I've found you, Alexia. Come with me. You're responsible for the creation of the Code Veronica virus. And now the only existing sample is in your body. I want it. Now!
You want it? You are not worthy of its power!
Whoa, what power!
Word of advice, and again, this is probably the most prevalent piece of advice I can ever give you for this boss fight: don't get close to Alexia. She'll pull you in for a kiss of death, and that is insta-kill. She'll pretty much kiss him, set Chris ablaze, and, well, if Wesker running away like a bitch didn't sell it for you, well, I really don't know what to say. She can slick some blood to light the floor on fire, which I believe was meant to be, like, inspired by Carrie, but, again, don't quote me on that. Basically, 6 shots from Magnum will pretty much do her in, but again, on the off chance that you don't have it, well, run away, run away, run away, run away, and make sure you have a healing item before you did the clear stuff, because otherwise you will die, you will die, you will die, you will die. But, yeah, the moment you defeat Alexia, you can pretty much progress onwards with the plot. Again, she, as you saw in the CG cutscene, she dropped a choker. And, well, yeah. Again, there are often times where Alexia can corner you, so, again, try not to get cordoned off by her flames, but, yeah, the pillars will save your life. Just make sure that you don't get close to her, and run away when you can. Oh god, this boss fight makes me pretty tense, but, yeah, this is part of the reason why I recommend saving the Magnum. I mean, again, the shotgun and some other powerful weapons work fine, it's just, the Magnum is pretty much a security blanket. Give it a cuddle when it's in the middle of the night. And, bada bing, we do the thing. Again, as the boss fight dies down, again, she won't get up again, and despite what a later cutscene when you finally get towards the door might tell you, no, she doesn't actually have like a Nemesis or Mr. X capability where she can follow you. It's pretty much just, well, yeah, she's laid out flat on the ground, and won't really bother you again until the final boss fight, so, thankful for small mercies, I guess. Now, to talk about the prior cutscene, actually, the one with Wesker, there is actually a big difference between the cutscene you saw here and the one in Code Veronica X. In, Code Veronica X, Wesker basically has a bit more of an exciting battle with Alexia. He's pretty much just like, Alexia, you will come with me. Except when they engage in that battle, well, Wesker pretty much does a backflip, he wall runs for a little bit, and, well, basically, him and Alexia are at a standstill until Wesker sees Chris, and he's like, "Ah yes, Chris, you are my best man. Deal with this thrall for me while I run away like a pussy." Except in the Dreamcast version, Wesker pretty much got his ass pimp-slapped and, ran away like a bitch. I don't think he even knew that Chris was there, because, Alexia was the one who spotted Chris beforehand, not Wesker, so, yeah, either Wesker took advantage of the fact that Alexia locked eyes with a different target, or, well, he's a pussy. A goddamn motherfucking pussy. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, that's pretty... I mean, that's just to let you know that Alexia's alive, but she doesn't follow you, so, yeah, don't be too concerned about that. Anyway, it's also, Actually, yeah, this is pretty much the final area in the game. Everything else after this point is pretty much stuff you've already seen and preparations for the final boss arena. This does also encompass a few steps, such as, you know, shutting off the power to get both the jewels, because as you're going to be seeing, with this area in particular, yeah, it might look a bit different in terms of aesthetics, but structurally, doesn't this remind you of something? Because, yeah, it's pretty much structured similarly to the Ashford household on Rockford Island. Unlike that place, though, this one is at least host to a few different areas, but, again, as you can see with, like, the little, artificial blue sky earlier on and the, you know, the merry-go-round thing, yeah, these kids led a very sheltered upbringing and, creeptastic. I mean, I really don't know what to say, but, yeah, at this point you pretty much just have to get the biohazard key, which I believe is in this room, then shut off the power, get the 2 blue gems, and basically use that to perform a similar puzzle to what you performed on Rockford Island with the little ants that you had to decorate, and, well, again, they'll pretty much set everything up for the finale, and at that point you can pretty much just progress onward back to where Claire was and go off and rescue her, and prepare for the end. Also, there's Veronica, in all her Veronica-esque glory. But in any case, I think it's time for some final bits of trivia. And it's something I probably would have mentioned in the last part if I had the time, but again, I didn't. And it's something I'm also going to be posting right here, which is also to do with Steve's original monster design. Yes, as you can see right here, it looks a lot more fleshy and also a little bit more detailed, because, like, I mean, you can see the flesh peeled back towards his bones. He looks a little bit more Jekyll and Hyde rather than, you know, the incredible bulk as you saw in the previous part, so, honestly, I kind of prefer this design. I mean, it does have the blonde hair, which was in tandem with Steve's original Skies of Arcadia look, but I don't know, I kind of wish this design was used as opposed to the one that we got, because, again, difficult as that, well, could you even call it a boss fight, really? I suppose not, but again, for as freaky as the Incredible Hulk was, yeah, I think this design looks much better. But in any case, it's pretty much just, completing the final steps. Just, again, one thing, well, again, if you haven't already done it already, again, if you made sure that, I mean, if you had Claire keep any of the more powerful weapons, then, yeah, you, kind of failed, and, you should probably make sure that you didn't save over that, because otherwise you are kind of in a pickle, dude. I mean, again, that is one of the few beginner's traps that I am going to begrudge Code Veronica for, if only for the fact that, again, at least when it comes to character switching, you don't specifically know that, again, there is an encounter that you can quite easily soft-lock yourself out of an ending, so, again, like, I mean, I don't fault people for finding, you know, problems with Code Veronica, at least in that end, but I don't know. It's one of the few things that I think a potential remake of Code Veronica could fix, but again, considering the fact that I think they're probably going to end up remaking Resident Evil 4 more than any other game in the series, yeah, Code Veronica's chances don't really seem that likely, but I don't know. I guess only time will tell at this point. Though, to comment on anything else, I really have nothing to say at this point. It's pretty much just finishing off the game. And this is the part I was worried about, because, you know, and this is kind of appropriate whenever you do any sort of commentary. You set out to do the best job you possibly can, but by the end of it, you're tired, you're delirious, you're drunk, possibly, and you're just looking forward to it to end. But, Dak, I don't know. I mean, I've already laid out what you need to do, where you need to go. It's just a matter of, doing it, really. But again, if you try and use this exit, well, again, you're out of luck because the door is locked. But again, this is where the biohazard key comes in that you got from the previous office, so again, just unlock the, well, the main lobby doors in the Spencer Mansion-looking part of the game, and, jobs are good. You can pretty much access that place, get the gems, go back to the, corridors, back to the Ashford bedrooms, and, again, like, the area you access isn't quite the same. Like, I mean, it isn't quite that little attic where Alfred confessed his love for Alexia. It's, well, it's basically just like a little hallway, a little stew pot for dinner. And again, that basically allows you to combine a few items and unlock the final part of the game. Or at least a little bit beforehand when you get to Claire, which will pretty much be the conclusion of this part, and then the final part. Ah, yes, the end is in sight, and we are at the penultimate part of Code Veronica. A sad affair, and again, in terms of any regrets I might have with this commentary, it's not showing off the Albinoid or the Clement mixture thing, but you know what, I'll do that later, next year, possibly, if I feel asked to do it. Which I probably will, because again, this is still my favourite Resident Evil game, and again, in spite of its flaws, I am more than willing to put the effort in when it comes to some of my favourite titles, so yeah, I just feel happy about that. And again, the reason why you need to turn the power off, because if you remember beforehand, the tiger would pretty much turn to the left and then turn to the right, like a complex stance move. But again, if you do it like this, you get both gems, and yippee-ki-yay, dude. So again, it's really just a matter of traversal at this point. I wonder if I have any more things to say. And I ain't. Ain't we in a bit of a pickle? Yeah, I'd recommend actually using a lot of your pistol ammo at this point, because all you're gonna deal with is zombies at this point, and again, the pistol, if you're going up against Alexia, unless you have completely wasted your other weapons, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not I should delve into this personal story now. In fact, you know what, fuck it, I think I might as well. Because, again, back when I first played Code Veronica on a first playthrough, again, I pretty much got up to the final boss with Alexia, and basically in phase 2 of her boss fight, I completely screwed myself out of finishing the game because, again, I got a little bit too panicky and I wasted, well, it's a matter of two things really. I wasted a lot of my powerful ammo because I wasn't really too sure what weapons I was going to need, and the second thing of which was I accidentally left some of my more powerful weapons with Claire because, again, I thought that you might have been able to damage the incredible bulk Steve, but again, as it turns out, you couldn't, and of course, basically, Steve, you just have to run away and pray that you live, so yeah, I screwed myself over there, I accidentally saved over it, and basically I had to start the game all over again, which is a point of the game which I consider to be its biggest flaw, because again, on a first playthrough, and again, especially if you're a complete fucking dumbass like me, you can basically just screw yourself out of an entire game's worth of progress and feel frustrated. Like, I mean, if I didn't love this game as much as I did, I probably wouldn't have bothered finishing it, but I loved this game enough to go back, do a complete other playthrough, finish the game, and feel satisfied, and enjoy it as my favourite Resident Evil game. Like, I mean, I am still willing to admit Code Veronica has its flaws, but again, these are design decisions that a potential remake can fix, and unlike Resident Evil 2 and 3, which I'd argue didn't really need one, Code Veronica on the other hand, and I guess now that I think about it, even games like Resident Evil 0 could easily benefit from that sort of design overhaul that, again, a remake could bring. But again, Resident Evil 2 and 3, and I suppose 4 on the eventual day that it does get remade, which, let's be frank, is probably coming quite soon. Again, it's gonna draw a lot more money because A, they're main series titles, and B, they're a lot more popular in the fandom, depending on who you ask, or their predilection for tank controls or whatever. But even then, they modernized them to the Resident Evil 4 scheme anyway, so fuck it, who am I to judge? Either way, let's just settle in and have a nice little pot of stew, which has probably been sitting there for the last 15 years since Alexia was in cryostasis. I mean, if you've got any first aid sprays left, I recommend, again, go back to the save room, saving, and, well, packing your best healing items, getting the best weapons, and, getting ready, dude, because, you're not gonna have another chance to prepare, because by the time you get to Claire and, rescue her from, well, everything else, you won't have a chance to do anything else ever again, so, make it count. The ink ribbon. We'll make great use of this. Yeah, I guess this is also meant to be reflective of that other room in the Ashford residence, similar on Rockford Island, except less destroyed and less of a bullshit Bandersnatch attack, so whatever, I guess. And you might have expected a monster to jump out at there, but it doesn't. But in any case, down the ladder and almost a new adventure, that's pretty much all she wrote at this stage. But we still have several bits of things left to go, so how are we gonna pad out the time in the meantime? Well, with that leitmotif, I'm curious actually, on the soundtrack, does it contain the vocal version with Alexia's voice actress singing the lyrics that you heard during Wesker's introduction cutscene? Not really too sure, but again, as I mentioned beforehand with the game's predilection for operatic storytelling, that is pretty much where the European influences came into Code Veronica, which again, in terms of at least thematics and the way in which it stylizes its horror, is a marked departure from, you know, the other Resident Evil games, in the sense that Classic games usually tended to base themselves more around the, you know, American horror / action movie genre, whereas Code Veronica specifically seems to be, well, a little bit more grandiose and operatic about its presentation and horror. And again, like, I mean, Code Veronica does still have its action movie influences. I mean, fuck, the opening cutscene in the game was very heavily inspired by John Woo, so much so to the point where it was pretty much copied in Resident Evil Apocalypse, except pasting Alice in place of Claire. So, either Paul W.S. Anderson is a hack, which he is, or, well, it just looked cool enough to include in a movie. I'll let you be the judge. But again, in terms of anything else, though, like, I mean, it does also have its typical influences, like I mean, the T-078 being influenced by the Terminator, and, you know, other such there. But, I don't know, it's because of that sort of unique atmosphere that I do really like Code Veronica. A statement which I'm probably repeated time and time again throughout this commentary, but fuck it, it really does make this game unique to any other game in the series, and, honestly, it's something that the series hasn't really captured since, which I suppose some might see as a benefit, but for me, I don't know. I guess I could also sort of see it as a benefit in hindsight because, again, makes the game feel special and, it's always got a place in my heart. But in any case, more ammo, more things to finagle with, and that's about all she wrote, really. The final piece we need to activate. Actually, well, what is this better? Was this meant to contain, like, a bioweapon or, like, a sleep chamber of some sort? I have no idea. But in any case, combine the wing object and we'll finally have the final piece to complete the dragonfly key. Whereas Alfred and Alexia tore its wings off and fed it to the ants. This time, we can put him back together and make sure that his sacrifice is not in vain. We brought him back from the graveyard. Now let's make sure he gets his revenge. Ah, continuity. You couldn't open that as clear, but now that we unlocked it, we can go forward into the next area. Again, you don't really need to kill this thing, like, I mean, that pretty much leads back out into the hallway, which you can't access anyway because the stairs were destroyed, so, yeah. And, again, the ammo piece isn't actually there anyway, but, fuck it. The item box. Again, like, I mean, this is your last point to stock up, really, so again, unless, of course, you want to have more of item management. The game. Basically, just take yourself out here. Really wish I had more to say, but, that's... Again, this is the end stretch, and, God, I love this game too much, man. It just has memories in a place we can't recall. I do have to wonder, though, like, I mean, I know George Trevor was already killed by this point, in terms of the series continuity, like, I mean, after, well, Oswald Spencer got rid of him, but, who designed this part of the mansion? I can only assume it was designed by Alfred and Alexia in a more modern sense, but, I don't know, do they have the access to the plans, or was somebody in Umbrella, like, able to hand it to them, or... I don't know. I kind of forget the original document that allowed us to read about it, but... Like, it's a little bit confusing to me. Because, like, I mean, I would have thought that they probably would have either not had access to the plans, or would have gone up in smoke back in the, well, titular Arkley Mansion adventure that was in the first game, so... Who knows, really? I mean, obviously it isn't a one-for-one recreation, but, I don't know. Maybe it was, like, part Arkley Mansion, part Ashford Residence, or what would eventually be the Ashford Residence, as, Alfred later built a bridgeway there and killed all the people working on it, because, god damn it, he is just such a little shit, and now he's dead. Tee-hee, hoddle-ha, whoopee, yee-haw, and yeah. In any case, as we prepare for battle... Now is the final time we can breathe easy, so on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Code Veronica commentary, we're gonna be finishing this game tonight, goddammit. So, catch you dudes and dudettes next time, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Claire? Is that you, Claire?
Chris?
No! The door won't open. Hey, is Steve with you?
Steve, he...
Listen, Claire. We have to get out of here immediately. Can you unlock it from the inside?
No, I can't. Chris, there should be a self-destruct system somewhere. If you activate it, all the electronic locks might be deactivated.